Alrighty, before we jump into handle place and handle enter, let's handle our neighbors. Okay, so we are going to get all of the neighboring chunks for each chunk, so we don't have these edges. So if actually we handle each one of these, only be a couple of minutes, we're going to get rid of the edge, the outer edge also, so we have a floating scene. So we have a floating landscape. So let's get to it. Let's jump over to the common. I'm just going to put my new method, GetNeighbor nugget, right here. Under check chunks. So we know each chunk knows its column and its row. It knows if its column is greater than 0, there should be a chunk before it to the left. It knows if its row is greater than 0, then there's a chunk behind it. It knows if its row is less than the chunk span, -1, or its row +1 is less than the chunk span, then it is not at the end, and there's a chunk in front of it. And the same thing for the column. So it's going to pass in the correct chunk and column. We're going to figure out with a little bit of math what nugget index it is as the neighbor in the neighboring chunk. Actually fairly easy. We could use get CR index, but that has more math in it than the method we're going to use, so no reason. We'll wrap this in a try catch. I've already been told I use try catches because I'm old. Yeah, that's why. Okay, so we will do a check here because some people get so freaky about these checks. I gotta tell you, at this point in time, your game, if we're trying to get a chunk that's not there, we already have a problem. We're already going down hard. We shouldn't have came this far. And the if statement a million times is a lot. But I am going to go ahead and put it in there, so no one freaks out. And in this case, we're going to go ahead and set everything to, by some chance this isn't true. It's always been true for me, but if this isn't true, then we'll return nothing and it'll draw the whole chunk, or the whole nugget. Chunks and nuggets, losing my words. Okay, so we're jumping back over to the chunk, jumping down to get neighbors. We're going to do neighbor 0 first. Else if our chunks row is greater than 0, hey, we're not the first chunk. We're not on the first row, that is. Then we're going to get a nugget from behind us. Same column, row -1, nugget index plus level size minus the nugget count. And we're going to pass in, of course, the SN0 nugget. So, as we do each of one of these, we're going to go ahead and mark this equal to 1 so we can not see the edge. We want to get rid of that edge. Let's jump back over to Unity and just test it. And we can already see, bam, they're all gone. Now if we run down here to the bottom, oh, my bottom, I still got my bottom in there. If I run this way and I turn around, they're there. Oh no. And that's, of course, is our other side. And now, I like the way the mesh colliders only work in one direction. Alright, so close it down. jump down here. I don't believe I've done this. For some reason, I put in common select, or the selected shape in the first lab. So, got to get rid of that. We want it to be equal to 1. All right, let's just go ahead and do the others in row, in order. And then we'll do a big test. Wrong. There we go. Now we are, or we need to, on tiling, since I said I would do tiling on Unity, I'm going to do tiling on Unity. And we are going to have to get, for tiling, to do good tiling, do real good tiling. We are going to have to get our oddball neighbors, our intercardinal neighbors. So our north, south, east, west are cardinal neighbors. Our northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest are intercardinal neighbors. So we will be getting those for our tiling because we need to do a full evaluation to make our paths, our streets, or our sidewalks, or whatever you want to create look more or less Minecrafty. Nothing wrong with looking Minecrafty. We're just not going for that. Plus up there. Checking my math. Always checking my math. Still miss stuff. And then down here, I've already got that typed in. That is hilarious. If our, I have no idea why I typed that in. If our column is less than vs lab 2 common dot chunk span, our column plus 1. Now I did neighbor 1, his column is greater than 0, neighbor 3, yes, everything is good. And it is a lot like this one, but we're just going to copy and paste. Or so we're just going to copy and paste. That will be minus. And of course we need to change the SN to 3. And need it to go to plus. Going to the right side now. Alrighty. Anything I am missing? We'll find out quickly. Let's just jump over to Unity and test. And see all of those faces go away. They're just gone. Look at them. They're gone. They're gone. Shaders are not having to be called to calculate them. They're gone. They have been culled. Well, they haven't actually been culled. When you say culled, you're talking about actually in the rendering. We are culling them, but we're doing it when we create our mesh. But you should, after we get finished with the next lab, be able to, well, next 2 labs, I want to give a few tower defense examples. You should be able to, uh-oh, is that one wrong? Is that one floating? No, it's not. It's good. You should be able to jump forward with a cool game. Whether it's Hero Wars or Clash of Clans or Hero Wars, I know, is kind of 2D, or it's totally 2D, but whatever, you're going to have a setup. And when we go through tiling, you should be able to figure out how to change your nuggets to different shapes depending on their neighbors. So you can do terraforming with nice rounded curves, and or do a more cartoony thing with an edge going all the way around that pops out. And we'll be able to do it quickly. I mean, I tested this on my i5 until my i5 died. My i5 died. I still have it, but it just doesn't run anymore. I was in the U.S. Army Signal Corps, and I thought about, I tore it apart to try to debug it, because I built this PC, built a bunch of PCs, and U.S. Army Signal Corps should really technology based, and I got it open. It was like, I don't feel like doing this, so it's still broken. Okay, now I guess I gotta buy another i5 just to test stuff. Let's get into handle place and handle enter, because I'm about to start rambling. So let's just get to it.